Hey, how y'all doing? It's Craig here again. I'm not even sure what day it is. It's January the, I don't know, 24th, 25th, 23rd. Sunday, January the 23rd. I got a little, let me get you down here. Get it centered up there a little bit. Anybody tell what that is from looking at it? It's a McCullough. It's a little, I think it's an FR 2.0. It is basically the exact same saw as my little Mac 3200s. It's just a newer version. Belongs to a guy that I work with. Wanted to know if I'd check it out. He said it ran last time that he used it. I don't know when that was, but it does have decent compression. The fuel lines were completely rotted off of it, as well as the oil feed tube. The line from the oil tank over to the oil pump was rotted and cracked. There's the primer bulb, and down in this box is all the oil line and the gas lines that was in it. Hard, brittle, kind of shrunk up where it was through the tank. Wherever you touch it, it just breaks. So I basically got it down this far. I've flushed the tanks out with some old 2-cycle gasoline that I keep around. Whenever I drain one out, I just keep the old gas, and I use it for things like this. That way it doesn't cost you any money to be using brake parts cleaner or something like that. I thought my steel gas line would work, but the outer diameter is actually too big, and then the OD is also too large. I really don't want to put Tygon back in it. That's what it was. I was watching Ken's Small Engine Repair. One of his videos he had posted the Poulon Wild thing, the latest one, and he actually had some Husqvarna fuel line that he bought and give some part numbers for. I believe that's probably going to work on this. That line is a lot better than this yellow Tygon. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase a couple packages of that stuff and use that on this saw, get it cleaned up a little bit here, put it back together. But that's not really the basis of this video today. I'm probably going to shake you around here a little bit. I'm going to unmount the camera and I'll show you what we got going on here. Okay, right here's what we got today. This is a positive pressure ventilation fan from the fire department. I don't know if you can see that. Leaking fuel. They say it's leaking fuel from the carburetor. This is a Tecumseh. It's an SH40. And here's this side of it. I've not done anything with it yet, but you can see where the carburetor, it's all wet and damp. So I'm going to assume, I'm pretty sure, not assuming, but I'm 99.9% sure that the needle and seat's probably going to need replaced. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this carburetor off, do a complete rebuild on it, probably install a new float, see what kind of float's in it, see if it's got that old material type or if it's actually got the brass. If it's the brass, I'll leave it go. But take that carburetor off there. I think I'm going to go ahead and replace this fuel line here too, because that comes through. Somebody's already been in here and put a valve on there to shut it off. But that's That's paint on that line, but that line's probably original, and it's kind of hard. So I'll replace that. I'll change the oil in it, get it all surfaced up for them. So I'm not going to bore everybody with removing the carburetor. So once I get the carb off and get it on the bench over here, we'll be back. Okay, I decided this would be easiest to get this carb off by taking the muffler off and taking the two, let me zoom in here a little bit, taking the two taps out of the elbow for the intake elbow where it mounts to the block. And I'm actually glad I did, because now what I found, let's see if we can't get this muffler gasket has been leaking. It's been blowing, all that is exhaust gas out on this intake manifold. So it's been blowing hot gas out on this intake elbow manifold. There's the gasket right there. And you can see where it's been blowing out. So this is going to get a new exhaust gasket also. But right here you can see all the, where are we at? See all the buildup there on the spring. That's where it's been leaking out of the carburetor. Oop, wrong direction. So let me get this off and get it on the bench. We'll be right back. Okay, got it off. Hope that'll show all the black right there where the exhaust is spraying onto it. All that's going to do is heat that up, and then that's going to cause run issues. So I'm glad I took it apart like I did. Have to get a new intake gasket here, and probably even have to get one down here. Oops. But the issues that, having to replace the two gaskets versus the complications that could have arisen from the hot exhaust gas spraying onto the intake far outweigh the cost. We'll tear it apart, then I'll put it in the carburetor cleaner to soak it, clean it up, get a carb kit for it, get the gaskets. Yeah. Going to require both gaskets, but that's okay. Them gaskets, they don't cost a whole heck of a lot. Maybe a couple bucks a piece, if that. Oh, there we go. I don't think it's got any gas in it because none leaked out of it. This bottom gasket here on this needle jet assembly appears to be good, but it'll get replaced. Looks like the little hole there is plugged up. There's a little real small hole right here in the spot that has no threads. In this little channel right there, there's a couple small holes that allow the gas to go into the needle area, as well as one down here. Right there it is. It appears to be plugged up, so I'll run a little piece of wire through there and get it cleaned out. It did have a little gas in it. Doesn't appear to have any water in it, but it does have quite a bit of settlement dirt down in there. I hope you all, let me get a little light down in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I know that probably doesn't help, but needle's got a little ring around it, a little watermark ring. I don't know if that'll actually show up. But my guess, leaking gas like it was, my guess would be that the seat up in there is probably dry, maybe even cracked. It's got the white seat in it. Yeah, it'll get a new seat and needle. The float seems to be okay. Doesn't feel like there's anything in it. It's the brass float, so I'll reuse it. Other than that, take the idle speed or the idle adjustment screw out of it, low speed screw. And again, when you do that, there's a little brass washer. Usually falls right out. So let me see if I can't get that out here real fast. Little brass washer and an O-ring that sets down in there. There's the brass washer. That little brass washer there on the end of my pick. That goes up against the spring. And then there'll be an O-ring that goes down over here also, and then that's what seals this assembly tight up inside the carburetor to prevent air leaks and fuel leaks. Having a hard time getting that O-ring out of there. There it comes. And that'll be included in the kit. There's that O-ring. That's what seals that tight. Okay. This carb is now ready to go into the parts cleaner, into the carb parts cleaner. I'll soak it overnight. Along with this, I'll take this apart. And I'll put the float bowl and the low speed needle in there, and I'll soak everything overnight. I'll order a kit for it. I'm not even sure. I gotta find the model number of this. Looks like it's a a 1181J1C. 1181J1C is the number. So see if we can't get a carb kit for it. I'm sure they're available. And soak this overnight, get it cleaned up, come back, put it together and see what we can do with it. Okay, hope to see you all in the next video. Take care.